The Spartan cape in God of War 2018 is stained with ash from a massacre that killed Kratos' wife and child. This inheritance he cannot burn. In you are the key Spartan soil. Kratos touches fabric that choked his family's screams. Atreus, beside him, draws his bow and where the cape's bloodline bends reality. Ghost the carry when his realm's weapon is also his wound tremble, but for the Crimson, you are the key. You are the lock, the realms tremble, not for Norse gods, but for the shadow they built to slay them. Redemption or the echo of old blood, a Spartan-born demigod, son of Zeus and Callisto, Kratos' Norse journey isn't escapate's inheritance. The same rage that killed Ares now carves paths through Asgard's bones. Santa Monica buried the truth, his Greek blood unlocks these realms, a key they feared would shatter the illusion. Lysandra's ghost, Calliope's absinthethes are not scars, they are sigils. The Pantheon didn't abandon him, they weaponized his line. Every axe swing, every shattered god whispers, you are the Trojan horse, the Greeks never died. They walked among us in Norse furs, waiting, 134 words. Kratos' bloodline forged in Spartan fire was no accident. Zeus' son, Callisto's grief made flesh, he carried the weight of Olympia's sins. His arrival in Midgard as the Wanderer was not exilate, was placement. Laufey the Just saw not a stranger but a kindred soul, a warrior shaped by divine cruelty. Their son, Atreus, born of Greek fire and Norse frost, became the axis of a silent war. Santa Monica's veil hides the truth. Kratos' every swing in Asgard unraveled threads the Greek gods wove in shadow. The 9 realms were never his to conquer, they were his to reclaim, key to a locked door the Greeks never closed. Every shattered god, every storm-torn field whispers, you are the Trojan horse. The Wanderer's blade splits 2 worlds, one buried beneath the other. His footsteps echo with the clash of forgotten oaths. The Greeks did not vanish, they waited, cloaked in frost and fury, for their champion to bleed the new gods dry. 188 words. Kratos was no mere mortal, his blood traced to Zeus, king of gods, and Callisto, a woman cursed to bear divine wrath. Ares, god of war, offered him vengeance. In return, Kratos became the ghost of Sparta. The blade that slaughtered his wife and daughter was not his choice. It was a ritual, a binding. Ares' influence seeped into his veins, forging a weapon that would outlive Olympus itself. This Greek identity rooted in blood magic and divine betrayal became the foundation for his later actions in the Norse saga. The same blood that made him a monster in Greece became the key to unlocking Asgard's vaults. The developers buried this truth to prevent a Greek Norse continuity collision. Yet the code remained, the runes echoed Spartan war cries. The 9 realms recognized his lineage before he did. What if the Norse saga was never his redemption? What if it was a continuation? The Greeks did not vanish, they waited, cloaked in frost and fury. Their champion carried their war into new realms. Every shattered god, every broken throne was a debt paid twice, once to Olympus, once to those who thought the old debts dead. The ghost of Sparta was never just a legend, he was a covenant, a bridge between worlds. And the blood of Zeus ensured no gate could hold him. 269 words. The blade that split Ymir's spine dripped with the same ichor that once drowned Sparta in fire. A Spartan's blood does not forget. It claws through time, a serpent coiled in the heart of Asgard's foundations. Kratos' hands, stained by Ares and Odin alike, now shake the veil between realms. The ritual at Ymir's gravate smoke curls like the noose around Baldur's throat. Fimbulwinter's first breath froze Midgard's rivers, but its true frost festers in the blood. A king's son, a god's murderer, a father's shadow, each title a shackle on the 9 realms' fragile order. Atreus' eyes, twin to Loki's trick, watch the ice grow. What does a Spartan king sow in Norse soil? A storm, a reckoning, a heresy that the developers buried beneath Valkyrie bones. The Greek blood in his veins was never just a relic, it was a key, a jagged shard cutting through the illusion of separation. Ragnarok's gears grind not from Norse fate, but from a Spartan's footprint in the snow. The realms tremble because they were never meant to contain him. How many walls crumbled when Kratos knelt at Ymir's tomb? How many lies? The cold does not come from the void. It comes from the wound his lineage carved in the cosmos. and the 9 realms, so proud in their hierarchy, cannot name the poison in their veins. Can they even now? The erasure is clean, the 9 realms breathe false air. Santa Monica's blade carved through Eddic prophecy, severing threads that bound Spartan blood to Yggdrasil's roots. Kratos' chain. Not a weapon of war, but a key. His lineage, forged in divine betrayal, cracks the Bifrost's foundation. Odin's hunger for knowledge, Eris' puppetry, both are mirrors. Both gods gamble with ruin, yet the studio's rewrite silences this echo. Why? To let the Norse cosmos rot without its Greek parasite. The old gods tremble at a truth they cannot name. Kratos' wrath was never theirs to wield. His Spartan heart, split by Hera's schemes and Ares' lies, became a wound the All-Father bled into. Every shattered realm, every throne of Ashetos of a debt older than Asgard, the developers feared the collision, a Trojan horse not of wood but of bloodlines. The Greek pantheon's vengeance draped in Norse furs, Odin's blind eye sees nothing now. The poison in the veins of the 9 realms is not a flaw. It is a reckoning, and the chronicler's pen, so carefully guided, cannot drown what the cosmos remembers. The cosmos remembers the blood that splits 2 worlds. Kratos' Spartan line was no accident, it was the key, a catalyst, not a curse. The Fimbulwinter's breath, Ragnarok's ash, both born where Greek fire met Norse frost. Santa Monica's silence was not erasure but caution, a bridge too fragile to cross. The realms trembled not for his wrath, but his inheritance. What if the 9 realms were never his to conquer or to save? The Spartan's blood did not dilute in the frost it festered. Greek oaths, broken in the cradle of Olympus, seeped into Yggdrasil's roots. A seed of betrayal wrapped in Norse valor. The 9 realms had no name for this paradox, a god-killer whose silence was a language older than the Aesir. Faye's line the just bent but did not break, yet Atreus inherited a storm. His father's shadow was no shield, it was the blade. Fimbulwinter did not fall. It was asterisk unmade asterisk. Ragnarok's gears ground not from Loki's mischief, but from a hybrid king's existence. His blood was no key, it was a virus. The realms burned not to end, but to asterisk correct asterisk an anomaly. A Spartan's vengeance, dressed as a warrior's, had rewritten the Norn's thread. Santa Monica's pen erased the Greek stain, smudged the ink, where Olympian ghosts whispered through the wanderer's blade, a continuity too sharp to hold. What if the Norse gods were not his foes? What if they were the final echo of those heads strangled in the Iliad's dust? The realms trembled not for his wrath, but his asterisk inheritance asterisk. A Greek shadow stretched over Yggdrasil's fall. And in that fall a question, was Kratos the end of 2 worlds or their first true beginning? The Spartan-born demigod carried Yggdrasil's undoing in his veins. His blade carved a path no god could foresee, a hybrid bloodline, neither fully Greek nor wholly Norse, became the fault line between pantheons. The Fimbulwinter's first breath was not chaos, it was design. A son of Zeus, his wrath had always spoken in the language of realms unready for his truth. Olympus fell not from his hands, but from the seed of what those hands would one day sow. When he stepped into the 9 realms, he did not bring war, he brought arithmetic. Greek fire met Norse iron, and the equation was inevitable, a reckoning no myth could contain. Santa Monica's silence was not oversight, it was containment. To let the Greek thread unravel the Norse tapestry would be to admit Kratos was never a warrior of Asgard's making. He was its unseen architect. His every strike, every sacrifice, every shattered godetch was a glyph in a script older than the world tree. The Fimbulwinter's frost, a thaw, Ragnarok's flames, a prologue. What remains unspoken is the quietest truth. Kratos' blood was never the problem, it was the key. A Trojan horse of flesh and fury, his legacy was never to end worlds, only to merge them. The 9 realms were not his battlefield. They were his cipher. And in their collapse, a new order was born not from destruction, but from the collision of 2 forgotten truths. That gods fear what they cannot own, and that some men are born to burn down temples so new ones might rise. The fire that raised that temple still smolders in his veins. The cape he wear stained with ghosts was the same blade that cleaved Lysandra's throat. How many times must a man drown in the blood of his fathers before the tide turns? Kratos' rage was not a weapon, it was an inheritance. A Spartan's fury honed to a god-killing edge. The Norse realms recognized it first. Their gates cracked not under war, but under the weight of a bloodline Athens had tried to bury. Santa Monica's scripts papered over the truth. His Greek bones held the key to Asgard's vaults, a Trojan horse of myth, not war. The developers feared what he could not, that his vengeance was never personal. Every axe swing, every shamed god part of a script older than Olympus itself. The Greek pantheon's final gambit, riding into Ragnarok on the back of a man who could not remember his own name. And here we are. The cape still whispers, the temples still burn. The same hands that shattered one world now tremble before another. Can a man outrun the shadow of his first murder, or does every son become the father he swore to kill? The gods are gone. Their silence is an answer. The cape still burns, not with flame, but with the memory of the day it turned from Spartan armor to shroud. You have seen Ithau, the red fabric phrase at his shoulders, how it clings to him like a second skin in the Norse frost. It is not just cloth. It is the scar of a murder that outlived its victim, a relic that whispers, "This is what you inherit when you kill gods." The Greek sun once bleached its threads with the ash of Olympus. Now the Norse snows soak them, turning Kratos past into a bridge between worlds, a bridge the developers feared. Consider the paradox: a Spartan's blood unlocks Asgard's vaults. The same hands that spilled Hades' siblings now cradle the seeds of Yggdrasil. Is this irony or design? The studio buried the truth, not out of malice, but survival. Greek and Norse mythologies are tectonic plates force them together, and the story cracks. Yet there it was, undeniable. Kratos' lineage, the key to a door the Aesir had sealed since Ragnarok. His Spartan rage, honed in the crucible of Greece, became the chisel that split the Norse cosmos open. The tragedy: he was never meant to stop the cycle, only to carry it forward. Atreus was born in the shadow of a throne room fire, Kratos in the shadow of a mother's blade. The gods are gone. Their silence is not an answer, it is a surrender, and yet their war lives in him. Every step through Midgard's forests, every clash with the Leviathan axe is an echo of that first murder. The cape knows, the snow knows, the boy knows. What does this tell us? That identity is not a birthright, but a wound that never stops bleeding. That the past is not a shadow, but a chainmail, each link a choice, each link a curse. Kratos walks this truth: to be alive is to carry the corpse of what you were. The question is not whether you can outrun it. The question is whether you can make it walk with you, not behind but beside. The cape flutters, the snow falls. And somewhere a boy learns to swing a sword. The cape's shadow stretches like a grave marker in the snow. His hand, once a scythe of vengeance, cradles light, no soft, unsteady, a newborn star. The glow seeps into the frost, stitching itself to the earth. A boy somewhere grips his sword tighter, unaware the metal hums with the same frequency as Kratos' fading radiance. The Spartan's breath curls upward, a silent prayer to gods who buried him alive. Beneath the cape's tattered edge, the scars of Olympus whisper. They are not wounds, but keyscrews carved by a blade that split two worlds. Greek blood, Norse gates. The developers wove a labyrinth to hide the thread. Every storm Kratos summoned in Asgard, every rift that bled chaos, was an echo of his Trojan heritage. A lineage that could open doors even dead gods feared. The snow falls heavier. The light in his palm dims, but the ground pulses. Hope, that weapon of the weak, now sharpens in the dark. Yet the blood in his veins thick with the ghosts of Spartan members' older battles. It carves its own path, unbidden, through frozen soil and time. A secret the studio masked with silence. Kratos' exile was no end, it was a seed. The cape stills, the light is gone, but the snow is warm where it lands. Hope is a weapon, but so is blood. Faye's foresight clear, unblinking, saw the fracture. She knew the blood in Kratos' veins held the key to realms beyond Olympus. What if his Spartan rage was never just a weapon but a map? The Norse cosmos did not welcome him. It recognized him. A ghost of older wars, older debts. Santa Monica's silence was not eraserate, was a dam. They feared what the Greek fire in his bones might melt. The 9 realms tremble on a fault line. Every shattered god, every hollow throne, whispers of a reckoning Faye could not unsee. Why did she guide him here to this frozen crossroads? The answer lies buried in the blood of Sparta, forgotten, but not forgiven. Next, the forgotten